It is 59 days to the presidential and parliamentary elections. Hello, welcome to Joy News Prime. We're live on DSTV channel 421, Go TV channel 125. I'm Carlos Caloni. Our headlines this hour.
Our strike remains unchanged.
We'll bring you a lot in this particular story. Now, as a wave of disappointment crashes across the nation, the Labour, seen as the last bastion of hope, abruptly calls off its highly anticipated nationwide strike at the 11th hour, leaving the country on edge over the unchecked devastation caused by illegal mining.
Organized Labour has therefore decided to suspend the intended strike action. We are calling all workers to report for work on 10th of October 2024.
Organized Labour claims the government has assured them of enhanced measures to combat the Galamsey crisis, but questions remain as frustration lingers.
Following this meeting, government offered enhanced and time-bound measures in respect of our demands and the fight against illegal mining.
Tonight, however, one source of hope remains: the Catholic Archdiocese of Accra, which says their prayer protest is still on course.
The goals of this prayer walk is to raise awareness about devastating effect of the Galamsey, advocate for government to declare a state of emergency to stop all forms of mining activities.
Also, Joy News can confirm that illegal miners who were mining close to the Inyenem police station in the eastern region have abandoned the site, leaving behind pits and gullies.
And there's a former ultimate and Fragalo, Tibias Autopilot and another co is a fool.
Now, amid growing fears, the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources insists that the nation's tap water remains safe for consumption despite the looming environmental toll.
I drink it every day. Even this morning, I drank water from the tap.
Well, I mean,
do, but that does not suggest. Listen, Kojo, sorry.
Wait, let's clarify. You would drink the water.
Of course I will. Why will I not? I do it every day.
It will also come your way with Prime Business.
National Petroleum Authority assures consumers of enough supply of LPG despite concerns being raised by LPG marketers, warning of a nationwide shortage of gas due to what it describes as bureaucratic processes in importing the product.
We have more than enough in the country to meet the demands of the people. The issue is just about a certain technicality around distribution. That is as a result of the reduction in the volumes that we were expecting.
Our strike remains unchanged. I want to repeat, the strike notice remains unchanged.
If they do, we are finished. They should go all out. The churches should support. Muslims should support. This is it.
In fact, nothing has changed from the land day to consider what the president's response would be. But I can assure you that our strike is on course. We have started engaging our employers to let them know that come on the 13th, we are not coming to work.
Well, I did not know about this morning any meeting today, and I'm yet to find out from the leadership of the three platforms whether there was a meeting and whether they attended. I am not aware. I am hearing for the first time that there was any meeting of any sort. I don't think I'm hearing right. I have to find out.
I hope that others would not leave to live in a manner or would not conduct ourselves in a manner that would make people believe the useless allegation that some of our leaders have been given 400,000 cities. 400,000 cities. That's cheap. We are not that poor. If people do not conduct themselves well and then we act in a manner that festers that bogus allegation that some people have been bribed, then some of us will lead our individual association to break ranks and to strike on our own.
Not even a bottle of water would I accept. My integrity to protect, I represent Ghanaian workers. Please, please, please.
So nothing was given?
I have given you my resources. You can verify from anyone, from anybody. I'm saying that not even a bottle of water would I accept, or any of us will accept in such meetings. If somebody took something, I'm not aware.
Despair, anger, and disappointment on one hand, and a huge sigh of relief on another hand. It is the summary of the general mood in Ghana right now, after organized labor, which is seen as the last bastion of hope, abruptly calls off its highly anticipated nationwide strike in the 11th hour. This has left the country on the edge over the unchecked devastation caused by illegal mining. Organized labor arrived at the decision after a meeting between labor unions and government. 3 key demands were made by organized labor, including a declaration of a state of emergency on mining in river and water bodies, a revocation of LI 2642, which allows mining in forest reserves and ban on small-scale mining. But tonight, labor says it is satisfied with the government-enhanced measures.
At a meeting of organized labor on October 7th, 2024, the meeting resolved that the measures announced by government were not adequate in addressing our demands and stopping the dangers posed by illegal mining. We therefore affirmed the strike notice and informed the government accordingly. Yesterday, October 8, 2024, the government team met with the leadership of organized labor and Ghana Employers Association. The meeting discussed at length organized labor's response to the earlier measures announced by government. Following this meeting, government offered enhanced and time-bound measures in respect of our demands and the fight against illegal mining. These measures include: 1, the revocation of the environmental protection, that's the mining in forest reserves, regulations 2022, LI 2642. His Excellency the President has directed the Minister responsible for lands and natural resources to submit a memorandum for the revocation of the LI to Parliament when it reconvenes on Tuesday, October 15, 2024. The redeployment of the military and other law enforcement agencies to flush out illegal miners from water bodies and forest reserves. The military is now supporting the forest guards of the Forestry Commission to protect the forest reserves from destruction by illegal miners and loggers. Government, working with the judiciary, has already established 14 dedicated courts, 7 high courts, and 7 circuit courts to handle illegal mining cases. Collaboration with the organized labor and other stakeholders to fight illegal mining, government has asked organized labor to nominate representatives to be part of the stakeholders committee to fight illegal mining in the country. 5, government supports the call by organized labor for all presidential candidates to sign a pact committing to the fight against illegal mining. 6, government affirmed its commitment to engage with stakeholders, including organized labor and the Ghana Employers Association, to bring an end to illegal mining in Ghana. These are significant concessions that organized labor demands and threats have forced government to make towards combating illegal mining, that's Galamsey in Ghana. Comrades, organized labor has therefore decided to suspend the internal strike action. We are calling all workers to report for work on 10th of October 2024.
Now, my colleague James Savaji joins me via Zoom with more from that announcement. James, tell us how this announcement went and the reactions.
Well, Brace, this announcement was reached after close to 2 hours of deliberation between leadership of the various unions. We know that the organized labor is made up of the teacher union as well as other workers' union. Now, as at 2 p.m., this meeting started, and the final decision was taken at close to 4 p.m. Now, this meeting delayed because what we picked up was that, the various groups, some of the groups were in serious objection to this position that has been finally announced about government enhancing the measures that they have announced earlier, calling on organized labor to back down. Some of these labor unions rejected this vehemently, leading to the protraction of the meeting. Now, if you look at on Monday, when organized labor made that press conference, they laid out some 5 key measures that government gave to them from their earlier meeting with the president, which includes the government's commitment to fighting the Galamsey. It also includes the promise to ramp up measures to cordon off Galamseyers from the water bodies as well as forest reserves. It also includes the fact that government will take measures to revoke LI 2462, as well as their support for the call for end to Galamsey, and the fact that the Attorney General and the Chief Justice must come together to set up some courts to deal with Galamseyers who have been arrested. Now, if you look at today's issues that have been measures that have been put out by organized labor, which they say was arrived at a meeting on the eve of just yesterday, before today, there are some enhancements. For instance, if you look at the issue about the commitment to fighting the Galamsey, what has changed is that government is now asking organized labor to nominate onto the enforcement team, and the fact that 14 of these courts have been put up. But the key requirement, which is the declaration of emergency, as well as the engagement of other stakeholders, which are chiefs, traditional leaders, have not been included in this. It is the reason why people like Professor Jampo, who is the USAR president for the University of Ghana, are livid. They are upset, disagree, and disappointed in this call of the...
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, my colleague James Savaji there. Meanwhile, MFR of our research desk has put together a spread of the impact the strike would have had. Before we go to that, however, President Akufo-Addo has reaffirmed his commitment to end illegal mining in response to growing concerns from organized labor. In a press statement, the president said there will be an implementation of urgent measures to tackle the crisis and has instructed the defense minister to ramp up the military presence in illegal mining areas as part of the ongoing Operation Halt. Can you take us through the statement, MFA?
Well, as you said, there's a statement from the presidency on this, and this is the enhanced measures for which reason Labour says they are calling off this particular action tomorrow. And it says they've taken action in response to a press release issued by organized labor on 7th October 2024, calling for an immediate halt to illegal mining Galamsey in and around water bodies and forest reserves. It goes on to talk about, in a demonstration of government's commitment to tackling the issue, President Akufo-Addo, through the relevant sector ministers, invited the leadership of organized labor to a meeting held on Tuesday, 8th October 2024 at the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations. And then following that meeting, the president, in a letter dated 9th October and addressed the leadership of organized labor, also outlined the measures. Now, these are the enhanced measures that labor talks about. One, the deployment of additional military personnel. This is what they say they've done. The president has directed the Minister for Defense to deploy additional military forces to intensify the ongoing Operation Halt, which we know, or some have described as a failure. The operation will be bolstered by the deployment of naval boats on polluted river bodies to ensure the immediate cessation of all mining activities. Legal or legal. The second one is the suspension of mining in forest reserves. This is another call that Labour had asked for. And they say the president has instructed the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation, along with the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, to actually suspend the enforcement of the EPA, that's the Environmental Protection, that's the Mining Regulation 2023. That's the popular LI 2462, which has become very topical with immediate effect. And they say when Parliament resumes, they would enforce it and ensure that that happens. The third measure is the strengthening of prosecution of illegal mining cases. We've heard from the Attorney General mention that a number of cases are pending and asking the judiciary to do something about the situation. The fourth measure is a call for a national pact on illegal mining, and that government is urging organized labor to encourage all presidential candidates and their political party to sign a pact. That's what government is hoping that Labour would do. And that in light of all these decisive actions, government respectfully requests that organized Labour suspends its planned strike on 10th October 2024 and collaborate with government and other stakeholders to ensure the effective combat of the Galamsey menace. So this is what satisfies organized labor, for which reason this particular action has been called off.
Okay. All right. So we can now look at the anticipated impact of the industrial action.
Well, so let's go through it. Ideally, this is what would have happened. Let me take you to my screen shortly. Right. So the anti-Galamsey strike, there was actually a countdown to shut down for tomorrow, but that is not to happen anymore because that countdown to shut down is not happening. We're only looking forward to Friday when the Archdiocese of Accra will actually embark on that prayer walk. So 72 affiliated unions, ideally, are part of this organized labor. So the labor union, 69 were to go on that strike and 3 were not to go. We know it's Ghana Medical Association, the Pharmacists Association and the nurses and midwives. They say they were not going to go. And these are services that would have been affected. Thankfully has been averted. So education would have been affected because we had UTAG, TUTAG, NAT and NAGRAT all going to be part of it. They are teachers in all public schools. So they were not going to go to school tomorrow. And then the judicial service, that's JUSAG, justice delivery would have been halted. And one key people that would have been affected were the 52 protesters who have been granted bail, but still going through the bail processes and have yet to actually go home. So that's what would have happened. Transportation. GPRTU mentioned that they were going to be part of this action. So for those of us who take Chotro, it would have been a problem tomorrow. We wouldn't have been able to get transport. Utility service. Interestingly, the Public Utilities Workers Union, PU, mentioned that they were also going to be part of it, but they mentioned that some services would work, others would not. So water and electricity, some portions would have been affected. And then we go on, public services, the ministries, departments and agencies. We know that CLOCSAG and the Public Sector Workers Union had also mentioned that they were going to be part of this. So if you had gone to the ministries, departments and agencies tomorrow, you would not have had anybody to attend to you. But of course, health was not going to be affected. Like I mentioned, GMA was not going to go on that strike. The nurses and midwives were not going. Pharmacists were not going. So health was intact. One area that was also going to be intact was security. They are essential service providers. So they were not actually part of this. Police, military, Navy, and all, they were not going to be part of this. So at least security was also going to be intact. Media... you see, I just heave that sigh of relief. We don't know as it stands now, but what we know for sure is that the Media Coalition Against Illegal Mining, which we are all part of, mentioned that we're going to be wearing that red armband, and you are wearing your red tie already, so you've started already. So tomorrow, it's expected that every media person is going to be wearing that red armband, or is it a tie, that whichever one that makes you comfortable. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. So that's one stays intact for the media.
All right. And we do know that people have been talking a lot on social media. So you come back and give us the details
I'll stay with you.
Social media.
As you have commanded, I will stay
Thank you.
for
Thank
that.
you so much, Emefade. But the president of the University of Ghana chapter of the University Teachers Association, Professor Ransford Jampo, has criticized the leadership of organized labor for their decision to suspend the planned strike action over illegal mining.
We don't have any serious variation from what we were told on Monday, from what we are being told today. But suddenly, Joshua Ansah Mbampo said government has shown commitment and so let us call off the strike. Well, our view as UTAG, yes, as of yesterday, the 16 public universities, we had voted to go on strike on, as our response, to the fight against illegal mining. And we did not even, I looked at the motion that was tabled, it was not even tied to what organized labor wanted to do. And so I'm in touch with my national president. We are holding our own meeting this evening. And then I'm telling you that we are not going to go by this charade. We are not going to go by this show of incompetence and gross disrespect to other unions for constituting the labor, or constituting organized labor. Clearly, they came with an agenda. Look, there are so many things that are being said about the leadership of organized labor and the kinds of things that happened here. Okay, festers those bogus charges and allegations.
President of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, Ken Ali Audu, has called on the government to implement the roadmap agreed upon.
The issues that we are demanding has been largely attended to by the government. Yesterday, there was a meeting between organized labor and the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations. One of the major things we're asking for is revocation of the LI that allow mining in water bodies and then forest reserves. The president today have issued a green paper. A copy has been brought to us, organized labor, instructing the revocation of the LI that allow mining in water bodies and forest reserves. The issue of Galamsey is a worry to everybody. However, going on strike is not something that organized labor always want to do. What we want to tell government is that the roadmap that has been agreed at should be implemented to the fullest so that we will not come back to what is happening now. We urge all employees to resume work after from 10th October and beyond.
Now, the Ghana Police Service has come under strong public criticism after the Minerals Commission boss revealed he had notified the police about an illegal mining activity which went on behind the Enyinem police station. Erastus Asaridonko was at the Enyinem police station and now report.
There are indications illegal mining has gone on about 200 meters behind the Enyinem police station. Just some 5-minute walk from the police station, illegal miners have redirected the course of the Brim River. Many of the residents are worried about the impunity with which illegal miners have taken over water resources in the community. One of them, who was willing to speak, shared his frustrations with us.
This is Enyinem, and behind me is the Enyinem police station. Now, this is what has become the subject of discussion of late. Behind this police station, about 200 meters, you will find an illegal mining site, which looks abandoned. But ahead of me, that is ahead of the Enyinem police station, about 100 meters from here, there are a lot of mining sites, illegal mining sites, lining the Brim River, which is just here to this direction. So I'm going to go over there and we're going to film and show you the number of mining sites we have ahead of the Enyinem police station.
We say the insunu, almost insunu ma insunu abrokonwa. In fact, having and there's also former ultimate infragalon. Tell me, as auto Petroleum and the call is a fool. And yet, a ma abandons enemy a guasi. I was saying, man who. Timid a second a coming qua. Naka send a commodity chafan for only seems to do more. Anna, I for no so I cry and by a for as a channel for no academy by a oko phrases in each one almost say a honyama, a chafan for no. It made a second qua. Anka aban Galamsey Nibia, Mr. Libatun Subian, Monkunu, one channel. No, often.
On the inaction of the police, despite the proximity of the illegality to the law enforcement agency, he said the commander cannot act without the backing of the chief of the town.
Intimate Macassin, Nitian Tintin, say, idea say, you're here, 8 on a month, ever check command and say, Atomidia, and my commanders on holding a month to sa. In the command, they bet on a month, there's no here, as I say, a man amount for the air to Mano. I must know, said you on said or back for a young man, or Anna Sabia, or commanders on Onqua, or Pimpim already, and it's on here and support Tundia, when you're holding to me and Jeffy.
Few days ago, you could see that there were a number of champagne machines working and operating here by the Brim River. Now you can see the nature of the river as it flows over here, prevented by a number of champagne machines which sit on it over there. Now the place has been cleared, but that is the Kumasi Accra Road, and that is the Enyinem Bridge over the Brim River. And the pollution has gone on for months under the direct watch of the police.
The result of the unchecked illegality at Enyinem is the highly polluted Brim flowing along the main Kumasi Accra Road. Time will tell whether these champagne operators are really gone. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Enyinem, Eastern Region.
Now, still on Galamsey, Catholic Archdiocese of Accra and the Conference of Major Superior of the Religious Congregations, Ghana, is set to embark on a peace march in Accra to demand a ban on all forms of mining. Speaking at a press conference, President of National Justice, Peace, Integrity of Creation, Reverend Father Nicholas Eisen, said it is their moral obligation to protect God's creation, hence their demand.
The goals of this prayer walk is to raise awareness about devastating effect of the Galamsey, advocate for government to declare a state of emergency to stop all forms of mining activities, to allow for evaluation of the damages and also healing of the land. Mobilize Catholics and Ghanaians to demand that government acts now and not keep giving promises. Foster collaboration among stakeholders to address the issue of mining activities that are destructive to our environment. And finally, to promote environmental sustainability and protection.
And indeed, a lot of people have been talking on social media, and MFI joins me in studio once again with the details from the social media. What have they been saying?
Okay, so we're streaming live what you're doing right now on Facebook, and I'll go to the comments right here under the live stream as we speak. And this one says the strike has been bought already. Someone will be smiling to the bank. And that's a Nanaya Kuma Kuma. We have Chris Mensa says you can no longer declare any strike regarding Galamsey. The fight is over. Let the country be destroyed. We all day inside. No, we all no day inside. Now, Ghana, Michael Ayabila says the potency of organized labor to fight anything in the near future is gone forever. And Crownly Prince says John Mahama in their cronies create the mess and won the score political points from it, but Ghanaians are awake. I don't know where that is coming from, and there's a lot of replies I don't even want to go into. Bereki Sukwade says they've collected the envelope. We all go suffer some, but some will suffer past some. Why? Shameless government, he says. And I just hope now that Labour has called off the strike, they will not raise their head when NDC, John Mahama, come to power in 2025. And these are some of the replies there. And some people are giving you evidence, real-time evidence of this particular action going on. And you've just seen...
And I believe we have a lot of messages, so if we can get through some of them again.
Okay, so this one from Evans Owusu says, facts will still remain facts and truth same. When I submitted yesterday, all of these movements are politically inclined. People came here at me, he says. At least he predicted that it was going to happen. And Kofi Otabil says the timing wasn't appropriate in terms of national security. All the presidential candidates should sign an agreement to fight Galamsey if and when they win power, what they would do. And this one from Idris Umar says disorganized leadership of Labour, highly disappointed. Kweku Sikanshra Asante says, what happened to the demand for government to temporarily stop any form of Galamsey? Unfortunately, I opened that. So these are some of the messages and that we've received so far in terms of reaction on social media. There is a number of them also on our WhatsApp platforms and X Spaces, amongst others. The discussion continues.
Yeah, the conversation is getting heated up. Thank you so much, MFR, for those details. You're still watching Joy News Prime with me, Carlos Caloni. We'll take a short break. We'll return with more. Please stay. Welcome back. Now, legal practitioner Martin Pebo is slamming the criminal justice system, which he says has put impediment in the way of execution of bail for 52 protesters who were granted bail. Some of the protesters were granted bail as far back as Monday, but executing the bail had become an issue due to the bureaucratic nature of the system. Democracy Hub organizers of the protest had alleged the police was scheming to hold the protesters for longer periods. Speaking to Joy News, Martin Pebo described the situation as shameful and called for urgent reform.
The situation is very, very, very untenable. This delay that protesters were given bail on Monday and today, Wednesday, we are still struggling to go through the administrative processes, tells you that the justice system is failing us. It's failing us seriously. It is the registrar's prerogative to go inspect the places of the sureties, etc. But because the registrar doesn't have enough men, it's been ceded practically to the police. And now that the police have been abusing this privilege they've been given, it's time for us to reform so that the court will have extra employees to do that work. You would also see that the failure of the justice system in this current state tells you that we need a 24-hour working shift when it comes to bail. So the 24-hour economy will be very helpful. Look at it this way, Piku. You know, the day the High Court judges granted bail, the bail orders were not ready until the following day. Is that not correct?
Yes. So 2 p.m. the next day.
Because the court shuts down at 4 p.m., if we're operating a 24-hour economy, at 4, when that shift is gone home, another shift will come and continue. The orders are not ready till the following day around 2. No, that is totally untenable. Look, we all must be very, very, very angry about this because it tells you that the Supreme Court decision in table number 4 versus Attorney General number 4, that personal liberties are priceless, has been thrown to the dogs. It tells you that we are not walking the talk. We are not walking the talk. If you open table number 4, versus Attorney General number 4, you find that Sophia Kufi, given the unanimous decision of the Supreme Court, said that so when it comes to bail matters, that the court registrars and the judicial system will even make provision for what do you call it? Overtime. So what extra hours? So you can't close the court at 4 p.m. if the bail orders and those staff are not ready. That is the law we gave in 2019.
Martin Pebo also weighed in on the decision by the court to deny Oliver Baka-Vormawor bail 3 times on a row. He described the position of the court as untenable.
That's also a very untenable situation. That provision you find. Remember that the 96 section 5 says that the court should consider. It doesn't bind the court to necessarily come to a conclusion that he would he should not be granted bail. You know, there is a case called Oko versus the Republic, in which Taylor J., and that's as far back as 1976, Oko versus the Republic. When Taylor J. was confronted with Oko's case, Oko was on bail and then was alleged to be involved in another offense and was brought before Taylor J. Taylor J. did a reasoned opinion, said, no, he wasn't going to apply that provision. So Taylor J granted Oko bail. So I'm very sure that in no time, Oliver will be admitted to bail. Look at the first indication. You saw that the trial judge, the bail judge in the High Court made an order that if the trial will not start within 72 hours, then the circuit judge should admit him to bail. And now that I've seen that it cannot happen. My understanding from everything is that now the circuit judge says he needs a formal application, right? Yes. So practically, it's going to lead to a bit of delay. But you see how I'm talking. It means that as for personal liberties are priceless, as a society, it looks like we are still a long way from embracing it. Let's do something. So you see that it's going to take some more days before the lawyers will go back before the court and try to persuade the court. So effectively, looking at it, it means that if the status quo remains, it will take more than another week before Oliver comes out.
Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petroleum, Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountant, CIMA, and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountant, AICPA, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountant, German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental Wellness and Beauty, as well as Chopbox Technologies, a convenience service and youth bridge foundation, bridging the gap for positive youth development. And this evening, the national chairman of the National Democratic Congress, the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, has indicated that his party would win the Hohwe constituency seat in December. According to him, the electorate have identified that the New Patriotic Party failed to fulfill the promise that lured them to vote for their parliamentary candidate and hence would return to the NDC. Mr. Nketia said this when he kicked off his campaign tour of the Volta region in the Hohwe constituency.
The NDC lost the Hohwe parliamentary seat to the NPP in 2020, where John Peter Amewu beat Professor Margaret Kweku with about 5,000 votes. It was the only seat the NPP won out of the 18 in the Volta region. However, the NDC has staged a massive comeback for the Hohwe parliamentary seat. The national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, expressed optimism of the opposition party winning back the Hohwe seat during the campaign tour in the constituency.
Hohwe is coming back to NDC, and NDC is going to move Hohwe to the next level. Hohwe is potentially Kumasi in the east. And the game changer is the Western Corridor, Eastern Corridor Road. The game changer is the Eastern Corridor Road.
The Hohwe NDC parliamentary candidate, Wolanyo Chekpo, entreated the electorate to vote for him as their next member of parliament, as he has already begun implementing his development agenda for the constituency. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Hohwe.
We cannot hear from the constituents of Dom Kwabenya who say the impact of development project will inform their choice of vote come December 7th.
North, Aosh, or I'm a Tuaba. Okay, dear, me person, I am say street lights. If it's a mama, no, also, or the pony best one. I have statue, street light near Blakuma. If you farm a car, Bassakwa Blakuma, no street lights. The accident is sipa. Into the Obejana, yes, Sereno. Yes, Sereno pa, on my street light now, or my.
To about Kepkus, Elmina. Yeah, Impini, your yard,
oye juma uko KE enye kra wama ebinimu isanu ejuma wama obimu machine wama fence ohwe ebinimu so ma fence yehu se sanso tu amama ni biemu a obebo
Abenyan constituency Agbogba Ashoman pure water ye kwan no enye ye bibia se wo honum Ashoma honum one ye ni toilet papa bia wo honum toilet na wo public toilet na ba ko pe na ye lo le kwan no o shofiti estate honum e be fa Ashoman honum a kwan no obia nyeye almost poly when ni omu nye kwan no ye e maye na o show ye kwan no so afiti downtown e kwa blaje nsu sa kwan no so honum so asay someone be ye kwan na maye a na du 7 December abano ye di ballot box number ye ntu abano na ye nsuo no so omu hwe maye nso de we omu twe omu tumu e bia on betuna tumu 3 weeks 4 weeks na ye nya nsuo bia van dwale
normal bebre ne be so a ye de ato aba no na me to aba wo domi kwabrinya constituency no ra me fa pantan tema wo hwe gata o mayi e de ama o mo na sa adwuma ni bi na ese o mutimi yi ama pe otafo na nka o mo so e de ensuo to a na yira fo mo ensuo to a na yira fo mo enya kwan ne keke na enyo gata o ese o mu yi gata kese e ma community no se na ebe ye ensuo ni betimi aye de afam
me to aba wa Ablekumanov de onye aban ko omunya hwe wo ye na se ya shilaba yoko ba ko no so aba kwafie no so aba no so onya hwe ntimi de me se aba no de me ntu kra ma mo kra because me nu de mo ye wo homayen se ba mo nyina mo bombo no to se bi wanya wa se bia o ye twifo krom nti de mpa bia no mo ye wo ma hwe me na oba no ani sin na oba no no o hwe ni conditions de ba to se pa se adwuma ya wa no se bia input to den koso sa because Ablekumanov hwe da kuma ono ma gota no enye nsi oto ho nyina yiri odoko market enye kufu aba baomi aba na naso aba omuntumi nsi ma Ablekumanov ye naso de bia soro na tabama MPP fo eye nungwase kese ye panti mama ba no mbesi ma ye ne hu se mama ye nipa betun den amaga na kono nim
afi we abato ano aye kwakoto no me mpaso so ne de to be frank ya kwan na me hwe na fi me ato aba ofa no light na issue de make say a little bit good but ya kwan de say no board de boss ni asase de aye kota mu fa bingu hoda gata sekra eni ho enti eno na me hwe na fi me ato aba ama incoming MP na obeba no because ya to aba to ye nya ho faso bia enti eno in particular aye kwan no na me hwe na fi me ato aba I feel
That's all we have on Joy News Prime tonight. You can log on to myjoyonline.com for more stories. Prime Business is up next.